Welcome back to Stamps Old World UK. Today, we are exploring one of the most famous and collectible classic stamps in American philately, the 1871 cent Benjamin Franklin stamp. This small piece of paper may look simple at first glance, but behind it lies a fascinating story of American history, postal development, printing technology, and collector demand that continues more than 150 years after it was first issued. In today's video, we will examine the history of the stamp, its design, varieties, rarity, factors that influence value, and most importantly, how much the 1871 cent Franklin stamp can be worth in today's market. The year was 1870, and the United States Post Office Department introduced a completely new series of postage stamps. These stamps are known among collectors as the bank note issues because they were printed by the National Bank Note Company. The 1-cent denomination featured Benjamin Franklin, one of America's founding fathers, scientist, inventor, diplomat, and the first Postmaster General of the United States. Franklin's contribution to the development of the American postal system made him a natural choice for appearing on postage stamps. The 1871 cent Franklin stamp was printed in a deep blue color and displayed a detailed portrait of Benjamin Franklin facing left. The engraving work was exceptional for its time and demonstrated the high standards of 19th-century stamp production. The stamp was primarily used for mailing newspapers, printed matter, circulars, and other low-cost postal services. Because of its low denomination, millions of examples were printed and used throughout the country. At first glance, many people assume that a stamp with such a large printing quantity cannot be valuable. However, philately is never that simple. While common examples are indeed affordable, certain varieties, conditions, cancellations, and rare types can command impressive prices in today's market. One of the most important aspects of collecting the 1871 cent Franklin stamp is identifying its different varieties. During its production, several printing plates and paper types were used. Specialists study details such as grill patterns, perforations, shades, paper thickness, and plate characteristics. Some varieties are considerably scarcer than others. This is where collecting becomes both exciting and challenging. The most common variety is generally found with a cancellation mark. Since these stamps were heavily used for everyday postal purposes, most surviving examples today are used copies. A typical used example with average centering and ordinary cancellation can often sell for anywhere between $10 and $50 depending on condition. Better centered examples may bring higher prices. Condition is one of the most important factors affecting value. In stamp collecting, centering refers to how evenly the design is positioned within the perforated margins. A well-centered stamp is significantly more desirable than one with the design touching or cutting into the perforations. Two stamps that appear identical at first glance may have dramatically different market values simply because one is better centered. Collectors also pay close attention to the quality of the perforations. Missing teeth, tears, creases, thins, stains, and repairs can greatly reduce value. On the other hand, a stamp with fresh color, intact perforations, and a clean appearance will attract stronger collector interest and higher prices. Unused examples of the 1871 cent Franklin stamp are much scarcer than used copies. Since most stamps were purchased for postal use, relatively few survived and used. An unused example without gum may sell for several $100s depending on quality. Examples retaining original gum can command even higher prices. Well-preserved mint examples are especially sought after by advanced collectors and investors. Among the most fascinating aspects of this issue are the grill varieties. During the late 19th century, the United States experimented with grills, small embossed patterns pressed into the paper to prevent the reuse of stamps. Certain grill types associated with the 1-cent Franklin issue are significantly rarer than standard examples. Correct identification often requires expert examination, but the rewards can be substantial. Some grill varieties have sold for thousands of dollars at auction due to their scarcity and collector demand. Collectors should also be aware of color shades. While most examples appear blue, specialists recognize various shade differences caused by printing conditions and ink mixtures. Certain shades may be more desirable, particularly when they are clearly identifiable and certified by recognized philatelic experts. Postal history collectors often seek stamps that remain attached to original envelopes or covers. A 1-cent Franklin stamp on a complete cover with an interesting postmark, historical destination, or unusual postal usage may be worth considerably more than a single detached stamp. The story behind the cover can sometimes be more valuable than the stamp itself. Now let us discuss current market values in greater detail. In today's collecting market, a heavily used example in average condition may be worth between $10 and $30. A cleaner used example with attractive centering can often sell for $50 to $150. Fine examples with excellent appearance may reach several $100s. Unused examples can range from several $100s to well over $1,000 depending on condition and gum status. Rare varieties, premium grade examples, or certified specimens may achieve prices ranging from several $1,000s to tens of thousands of dollars. At major philatelic auctions, exceptional examples have achieved remarkable results. Collectors compete aggressively for stamps that combine rarity, outstanding condition, and certification. The difference between an average example and a top-quality example can be enormous. This is why professional grading and expert certificates play an important role in the high-end stamp market. For anyone who discovers an old 1-cent Franklin stamp in an inherited collection, it is important not to make assumptions about value based solely on age. Many old stamps are common, while others may be rare. Careful identification is essential. Details such as grills, paper type, centering, cancellation, and condition must all be evaluated before determining an accurate market value. If you own one of these stamps, consider using a magnifying glass and comparing it with specialized stamp catalogs. Expertization services can also help determine authenticity and identify valuable varieties. A small detail overlooked by a beginner could potentially represent a significant difference in value. The enduring popularity of Benjamin Franklin also contributes to the stamp's appeal. Franklin remains one of the most respected figures in American history, and collectors around the world recognize his importance. As a result, stamps bearing his portrait continue to attract strong interest from both beginners and advanced philatelists. More than 150 years after its release, the 1871 cent Franklin stamp remains an important symbol of American postal history. It connects collectors with a period of rapid national growth, expanding communication networks, and the artistry of classic engraved stamp production. Whether worth a few dollars or several thousand, every surviving example carries a story from the 19th century into the modern world. Next up, the United States 1902 1-cent Benjamin Franklin stamp printed in blue green color. This classic American stamp is highly collectible and remains a favorite among stamp collectors worldwide. In this video, we will uncover its fascinating history, design, printing details, varieties, rarity, and most importantly, its market value in today's stamp collecting market. The United States 1-cent Benjamin Franklin stamp was issued as part of the famous 1902 definitive series. This series replaced earlier postage designs and introduced fresh portraits of important American historical figures. For the 1-cent denomination, the United States Post Office selected Benjamin Franklin, one of America's founding fathers and the nation's first postmaster general. Franklin's role in establishing and improving postal services across America made him one of the most appropriate individuals to appear on U.S. postage stamps. The stamp was printed in an attractive blue-green shade, a color that gives the issue a distinctive appearance and helps collectors easily recognize it. The engraved portrait of Benjamin Franklin is surrounded by an elegant frame featuring detailed ornamental work. The quality of engraving reflects the exceptional craftsmanship of the Bureau of Engraving and Printing during the early 20th century. Millions of these stamps were produced because the 1-cent denomination was heavily used for postcards, printed matter, newspapers, and other postal services. As a result, many examples survive today. However, not all surviving examples are equal. The value of a stamp depends on numerous factors including condition, centering, cancellation, gum, rarity, and whether it belongs to a special variety. The most commonly encountered examples are used stamps with postmarks. These stamps were applied to mail and subsequently cancelled by postal clerks. A typical used example with average condition usually sells for between $1 and $10. Stamps with clear impressions, attractive centering, and light cancellations may sell for higher amounts. Condition plays an extremely important role in determining value. Collectors prefer stamps with bright original color, sharp perforations, and no tears, creases, stains, or repairs. A stamp with poor centering may only be worth a few dollars, while a perfectly centered example can be worth many times more. This difference often surprises beginners entering the hobby. And used examples are generally more valuable than used copies. Mint stamps that still retain their original gum are especially sought after by collectors. Depending on quality and centering, mint examples may range from $30 to several $100s. Premium quality examples certified by professional grading services can achieve even stronger prices. One fascinating aspect of the 1902 1-cent Franklin stamp is the existence of various printing shades. While collectors often refer to the color as blue-green, specialists recognize slight differences caused by printing batches and ink mixtures. Some shade varieties attract additional collector interest, particularly when accompanied by expert certification. Collectors also search for stamps with unusual postal history. A 1-cent Franklin stamp on an original postcard, cover, or historic envelope may be worth significantly more than a detached stamp. Postal history collectors appreciate items that tell a story about communication during the early 1900s. Covers showing rare destinations, unusual routes, military mail, or special postmarks can command premium prices. Another important factor is grading. Professional grading services evaluate centering, freshness, perforations, and overall appearance. High-grade examples can be worth many times more than ordinary specimens. A stamp that might normally sell for only a few dollars could be worth hundreds if it receives an exceptionally high grade. In today's market, most average used examples of the 1902 1-cent Benjamin Franklin blue-green stamp typically sell for between $1 and $10. Better used examples with strong centering and attractive appearance often sell for $10 to $50. Mint examples commonly range from $30 to $300 depending on condition and gum quality. Exceptional certified examples in superb condition may bring several $100s or even exceed $1,000 when offered at major philatelic auctions. For collectors who inherit old stamp albums, finding a 1902 1-cent Franklin stamp is quite common. However, determining the exact value requires careful examination. Factors such as centering, gum condition, perforations, color, and cancellation quality all influence market value. Never assume that every old stamp is highly valuable simply because of its age. At the same time, never dismiss an old stamp without proper evaluation because small details can significantly affect its worth. More than 120 years after its release, the 1902 1-cent Benjamin Franklin stamp remains an important part of American philatelic history. It represents an era when letter writing and postcards were essential forms of communication. The stamp continues to attract collectors because of its beautiful engraving, historical significance, and affordable entry point into classic United States stamp collecting. Whether your example is worth a few dollars or several $100s, every surviving 1902 1-cent Franklin stamp carries a piece of American postal history. It connects us to a time when handwritten correspondence traveled across cities, states, and continents powered by one small stamp featuring one of America's greatest historical figures. Next up, the Washington Bicentennial 1-cent stamp of 1932. This beautiful green stamp was released to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the birth of George Washington, the first president of the United States and one of the most important figures in American history. In this video, we will discover the history of the stamp, its design, printing details, collecting varieties, rarity, and its market value in today's stamp market. The year 1932 marked an important milestone in American history. It was exactly 200 years since George Washington was born on February 22, 1732. To honor this occasion, the United States Post Office Department issued a special series of commemorative stamps featuring Washington at different stages of his life. The 1-cent denomination became one of the most widely used stamps in the series because it was intended for everyday postal needs. The stamp features a portrait of George Washington based on historical artwork. Printed in a rich green color, it carries the inscription, Washington Bicentennial, along with the dates 1732 and 1932. The design is both elegant and historically significant, making it a favorite among collectors of United States stamps. Unlike many rare 19th-century stamps, the 1932 Washington Bicentennial 1-cent stamp was produced in very large quantities. Millions of copies were printed and sold throughout the United States. Because of this large production, the stamp remains relatively affordable for most collectors today. However, condition remains extremely important when determining value. Most collectors encounter this stamp in used condition with postal cancellations. Common used examples generally sell for between 25 cents and $3 depending on condition and appearance. Stamps with heavy cancellations, damaged perforations, tears, stains, or creases usually have little premium value. And used examples are more desirable. A mint stamp with original gum and bright color may typically sell for between $2 and $15. Well-centered examples in excellent condition can command higher prices, especially when certified by professional grading services. One of the most important factors affecting value is centering. In stamp collecting, centering refers to how evenly the design is positioned within the perforated margins. A perfectly centered stamp is much scarcer than an average example. Collectors often pay substantial premiums for stamps with exceptional centering and superior eye appeal. Plate blocks and complete sheets are also popular among collectors. A plate block consists of several connected stamps showing the plate number in the margin. These items often sell for higher prices than individual stamps because they provide additional information about the printing process and are scarcer in high-quality condition. Another interesting area of collecting involves first-day covers. These are envelopes bearing the stamp and canceled on the first day of issue. Washington Bicentennial first-day covers remain popular among postal history enthusiasts and can range from a few dollars to considerably more depending on rarity, condition, and cachet design. In today's stamp market, a typical used Washington Bicentennial 1-cent stamp is usually worth between 25 cents and $3. Mint examples often range from $2 to $15. Superb graded examples may sell for $50, $100, or even several $100s when they receive exceptionally high grades from professional certification services. Although it is not considered a rare stamp, its historical importance makes it highly collectible. The stamp represents the celebration of one of America's greatest national heroes and commemorates a major historical anniversary. For many collectors, its significance extends beyond monetary value. If you find a Washington 1732 to 1932 1-cent stamp in an old collection, examine it carefully. Look at the centering, perforations, gum condition, color freshness, and overall appearance. These details can make a substantial difference in value. While most examples are common, premium quality specimens remain highly sought after by advanced collectors. More than 90 years after its release, the 1932 Washington Bicentennial 1-cent stamp continues to be collected and appreciated around the world. Its attractive design, historical significance, and affordable price make it an excellent addition to any stamp collection. Next up, the United States 1-cent George Washington Green Imperfect Stamp. At first glance, this small green stamp may appear ordinary, but it belongs to one of the most collected and studied stamp series in United States postal history. In this video, we will explore its history, design, printing characteristics, rarity, collector interest, and current market value. The stamp features a portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States and one of the most recognizable figures ever depicted on American postage stamps. Washington's image appeared on countless U.S. stamps throughout the late 19th and early 20th centuries, but the imperfect issues hold a special place in Philately because they represent an important period of experimentation and development in stamp production. One of the first things collectors notice about this stamp is that it is imperfect. Unlike most stamps that have perforated edges allowing them to be separated easily from a sheet, imperfect stamps were printed without perforations. Postal clerks and customers had to cut or separate them manually. This distinctive feature makes them immediately recognizable and highly interesting to collectors. The green color of the stamp was chosen for the 1-cent denomination, following a long tradition in United States stamp production. The rich green shade, combined with the finely engraved portrait of George Washington, creates a simple yet elegant design that remains attractive more than a century after it was first issued. During the early 20th century, the United States Post Office experimented with both perforated and imperfect stamps. Many imperfect stamps were issued specifically because vending machine and affixing machine companies needed stamps in special formats. As a result, some imperfect issues were produced in smaller quantities than their perforated counterparts, making them more desirable among collectors today. The stamp shown here appears to be an unused example with strong color and clear margins. For collectors, margins are extremely important. Because imperfect stamps were cut from larger sheets, the size and balance of the margins can significantly influence value. Examples with wide, even margins on all four sides are generally worth more than copies with narrow or uneven margins. Condition is one of the most important factors when determining value. Collectors look for fresh color, clean paper, sharp impressions, and the absence of tears, creases, thins, stains, or repairs. Even minor flaws can reduce value, while exceptional examples can command substantial premiums. Another factor affecting value is whether the stamp retains its original gum. Unused stamps with original gum are generally more desirable than those without gum. Professional grading services often certify high-quality examples, and a superior grade can dramatically increase market value. The Washington Franklin series is one of the most complex and studied areas of United States philately. Specialists examine watermarks, paper types, printing methods, shades, and other technical details to identify specific catalog numbers. Two stamps that appear nearly identical to the casual observer may have very different values depending on these characteristics. In today's stamp market, common imperfect 1-cent Washington stamps in average condition often sell for between $5 and $25. Better examples with attractive margins and strong eye appeal may bring between $25 and $75. Premium quality examples with excellent centering, original gum, and professional certification can sell for $100, $200, or even more depending on the exact variety and condition. Collectors around the world continue to seek these stamps because they represent a fascinating chapter in American postal history. They connect us to an era when the United States postal system was expanding rapidly and experimenting with new methods of stamp production and distribution. Although this stamp may seem small, it carries a remarkable story. It reflects the life and legacy of George Washington, the evolution of United States stamp printing, and the enduring appeal of classic philately. More than 100 years after its issue, collectors still appreciate its beauty, history, and significance. Whether your example is worth a few dollars or several $100s, it remains an important piece of American postal heritage. Careful examination by a specialist can help determine the exact catalog number and uncover details that may affect its value. Thank you for watching Stamps Old World UK. If you enjoyed learning about the United States 1-cent George Washington Green imperfect stamp and its market value today, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another journey into the fascinating world of stamps. Leave a comment below if you own this classic Washington stamp or if there is another stamp you would like featured in a future video. Until next time, happy collecting and keep exploring the treasures of philately.